Welcome to Poets from the Neighborhood. My name is Bruce Jennings.
And I'm David M. Harris. We hope you'll enjoy the poems we'll be reading today, poems written by your friends and neighbors. We begin with a poem by Grace Barlow, Seabird. I thought I'd finally caught a break, a current, a fickle swell that was pulling me slowly, very slowly, back to land, as if I was a storm-battered seabird dragging on the bruised waves, straining towards the strand, towards the littoral, the bridge from here to there, from drowning to solid ground, finally, after 5 months of therapy. Today, like last week, like next week, I sit in the reception, waiting for someone to tell me how I am, waiting as the white noise machine plays its unending soundtrack of the sea. The waves breathing in and out, a vastness that soothes my monstrous, tender load, as the seagulls, those sovereigns of the seashore, called out to me to come back, to return. But today is not a good day, no. Today all I hear is the albatross and its accusatory cry, as though it saw the dead weight hanging around my neck, pulling me under the crest of the couch, the seabird of fortune I'd killed with my own bare hands. Today, left far too long alone within the discoloring spume walls, I am the ancient mariner, morphing into damned, dead flesh, brittle eyeballs, dismantled wings, the handicap hanging around everybody's neck.
How Mothers See by Bruce Jennings. My mother said she had eyes in the back of her head. She was a watchful woman. At 4, I used my stealth to slip into a room, plotting and investigating some mischief. She would call from the kitchen, summon me, or otherwise describe what I was about to do before I did it. Come out of there now. Put that down. Don't you stick your hand in the fishbowl. Thus began my lifelong fascination with epistemology. But at the time, I had other fish to fry and joined my mother, also frying fish, in the kitchen. A 4-year-old is literal and trusting, a dangerous combination then as now. I could not explain how she saw what I was about to do in another room, line of sight and all that. To give the lie to her claim, I began a quest to find the eyes in the back of her head. The Holy Grail comes in many forms. She was patient as I mussed her hair. She wanted me to search, you see, not take a fib like that for granted. She was a watchful woman. Search I did. The smell and softness of her hair is what I really was after, and it is what lingers most vividly now, eclipsing my frustration at repeated failure to find her extra set of eyes. The neighbor girl, my playmate then, submitted herself to the same inquiry with similar results. The hypothesis remained that women obtained eyes in the back of their heads when they became mothers. The one transformation was no more or less astonishing to me than the other, and still is. You can't see them, but they can see you, my mother remarked dryly, and breaded another bluegill. For many years thereafter, abeyance set in, and the backward-looking eyes, a metaphor of love, ceased to watch. At any rate, she stopped using them. She no longer needed, or wanted for that matter, to see what I was up to in another room. At the last, the eyes in the back of my mother's head returned with a new task when she came to my home in April to remember, say goodbye, and to die. We sat together, looking backward while staring straight ahead. With my soothing hand, she let me search her hair once more. From her little room, its flowered wallpaper my wife and I had hung, a sunny window with yellow curtains and a breeze, she watched the rest of the house, knew where I was, what I was trying to do before, and even better than I did, as ever, with those eyes in the back of her head.
A poem of my own, The Hermit Convention by David M. Harris. From Mount Athos they trickle in. The slopes of Sinai shed a few. Himalayan caves disgorge the hairy ones, sometimes mistaken for Yeti. The high desert of New Mexico exudes 2 delegates, and one sneaks in from Manhattan, the Lower East Side. They drift around the lobby of an Iowa Holiday Inn, avoiding eye contact, but reading the convention agenda. A workshop, new trends in meditation. A panel, getting started in solitude. The first 10 years are the hardest. At the awards banquet, even the head table seats only one. The keynote speaker says, Aum, Aum, Aum. At checkout, awkward handshakes, explosions of volubility. Good seeing you. Next time, they nod at one another, and they file out one by one, silent and smiling.
The Rampant Floods by VeerajaR from the Civil War anthology, Filtered Through Time. We had the sixth sense. We knew right from wrong. We had rules. We laid the boundaries. We hope to bring civility where everyone finds happiness, where all civilization walks in worthy path of peace. But now shed tears of sorrow. Be warned of rampant floods.
Prose poem by Alicia Marie Brandewie. From the Greeks we get oxy, sharp, and moros, stupid, from which we get oxymoron. It is its own example. But also egg salad made with vegan mayonnaise, John Cage's 4 minutes 33 seconds, the silent piano piece. Band-aiding a paper cut hours before a suicide attempt. The name Exquisite Corpse, but maybe also the game's hidden lines. Keeping kosher, but replacing an ACL with pig ligaments, rabbi's blessing and all. From the same origins comes oxygen, oxy, acid, which is sharp, and genes, genes, formation or creation. Oxygen was once as clever a word as oxymoron, when we thought air was necessary to make acids. When we believed combustion had its own particle, phlogiston, Greek for burning up, that was released by fire. Pure oxygen was known as dephlogisticated air, assuming it had an extra strength capacity to absorb the burn. Now we know the opposite, that oxygen is the element that burns. A candle that snuffed itself in a closed jar did not oversaturate the air, but drank it all, died of thirst. We know oxygen, the element, and this etymology lesson readily combines to form life, as in a daughter-in-law whose morals weigh more towards her well-meaning mother-in-law, and the mother's attempt to modify the famous family recipe than the daughter's dietary designs. A symphony with reedy whispers rising into the melody, a harmony of weight bowing across seats, the rhythm drumming from the AC, offbeats of coughing and gum wrappers, and a cell phone solo. A depressed inmate not thinking past today, but the need to heal already taken hold. Poems blooming from Frankenstein lines, a best friend trading in crutches for running shoes.
Stirred by Lydia Esmer. Lord, your handiwork is manifest wherever I look, from cascading waters that cleave primeval rock to song of babbling brook. Likewise, the rush of your love crumbles my obdurate will into humble submission and stirs my being with hymns of adoration. Thank you for watching Poets from the Neighborhood. We hope you'll join us again soon.